Welcome to Art Talk Tuesday.
Hello, good people. Welcome to this episode of Art Talk Tuesday. I know you haven't seen me in a little while. I've been taking care of a lot of different things in my life. Haven't been doing much creating as I had been, but I'm back on it now. Got two new pieces back to back, hot off the press for you. Starting with the one I'm going to feature today. It's called Astral Dreams, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Also have to drop this piece off today because it's going to be in a show this weekend here in the Bay. This piece is going to be in a show called 10 by 10. It's a pop-up. It's going to be happening this coming Sunday, July the 13th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be at Seaport Studios in Richmond. That's Seaport Studios in Richmond. The address is 4925 Seaport Avenue, 1 to 4 p.m. this coming Sunday, July the 13th. So that's going to be coming up. This piece will be featured in the show. Just got it done. It's hot off the press, ready to go. Had a big snafu with this piece. You wouldn't believe all the trouble it's caused me. I started working on it last week, getting ready in preparation for the show this coming Sunday, and bought some new stuff that I was going to try out. They went to the art store. They didn't have quite what I wanted. So I said, well, I'll just try this, see how it works. Got the piece done, and I began to put this spray on it to anchor down the ink, and all of a sudden everything just started dissolving, melding into all kind of crazy chaos, which I will hopefully show to you in a little bit. Took some photos of it just so you could see it. And then I had to go in and try to clean this up. I almost gave up. It was like 12 at night. I was like, oh, it's done. All I have to do is spray it, and then I can go to bed and it'll be fine in the morning. It all fell apart. I was having a panic attack. I didn't know what I was going to do. Thought I was going to have to be up a couple of nights in a row trying to get another one done to redo it, but I was able to fix it as much as I could to save it. It definitely has a very different look from the initial piece, which I will also throw in here so you can see that, and you can see what it looked like when I originally finished it. Then you can see what happened after I put the spray on it and all the ink began to dissolve and melt, and how I was able to go back in and clean some of the areas up. Still looks pretty good, but it's not my original vision, which often happens as an artist. Things just happen beyond your control. So that happened with this piece. I want to talk to you about this. Obviously, it is 10 by 10 as the dimensions. That's because it's going to be in a show called 10 by 10. So all the work has to be 10 inches by 10 inches. So you've got a square format here for this piece. And where this is really coming from is that I've been dealing a lot with, I've shifted from the yoga pieces to this whole thing about dreams. Spirit has really been talking to me a lot in my dreams and about this whole notion and concept of dreams. So I've been really kind of reading up on dreams, exploring that. I've kept a dream journal before on different occasions. Never really felt like I got enough out of it, probably because I didn't do it consistently enough. Because they say if you do it consistently and begin to journal your dreams, you'll begin to see themes popping up or recurring symbols, which will give you an idea about what they mean so you can interpret those after you see them a lot. Same thing with kind of visual journaling. You begin to use recurring symbols, themes in your work that are just part of who you are. The way I make marks as an artist is going to be very different from the way another artist may use paint or make their marks. That stroke is always unique to that particular person. So same thing with the dream idea. This particular piece is called Astral Dream. So it's about this idea of astral travel. Some of you may be familiar with it. It is said that when we are dreaming, oftentimes we will astrally travel. Our astral body will physically leave our body and travel to other realms, other dimensions, to meet other spirits, to gain other knowledge. Sometimes we can gain information from other selves and other dimensions. And all of this is connected by a silver cord. So when your astral body leaves your physical body and goes off in your dreams, there's a silver cord that connects your physical body to your astral body. And it's said that if that cord is severed, then you cannot return back to your body. So that's just the whole idea. So I'm playing with this notion of the cord here. One of the ways you can tell about an astral dream is if you begin to feel certain sensations or something's happening and you instantly wake up. They say that's usually, I believe, an astral dream. Whereas if there's just a regular kind of dream from the mind, then things kind of change and you can kind of manipulate it a little bit things like that. But if it's an astral dream and something begins to happen, you all of a sudden just wake up and you're in your body like you were out. All of a sudden you're just instantly awake. That usually means you were engaged in astral travel during your dream. So anyway, enough of that. Going in here to the piece. So using a lot of symbolism, because dreams can be beautiful, they can be macabre, they can also be very strange, unsettling. We don't know what's happening in our dreams all the time when we try to figure out with our rational mind, our rational understanding. Dreams are part of the deep, deep subconscious, and I believe our deep, deep spiritual selves. We connect with higher spirits, with our higher selves in our dreams. And so Spirit speaks to us through symbols. We always want direct understanding, direct words, but that's not the way Spirit operates. Very rarely does it happen. Usually it's through symbols and synchronicities. And so that's why I use a lot of symbols in my own work to kind of represent that way that Spirit speaks to us through its symbology. And so I'm dealing with this whole symbolical thing here. Obviously, as I've already pointed out, we have the figure here floating away with an umbrella. And she's just floating away, floating up and off to wherever she's going to go for her dreamscape, her dream world, her astral body floating away, going to where it's going to go, and connected by the spiritual cord. And see, we have how I did these little beams of light connecting the two parts of the spiritual cord, right? We got the little beams of light coming forth and it's traveling down. The figure here is sleeping. She's asleep. I left it purposely androgynous, so if you wanted to be a male, it can be a male figure, or it can be a female. I think of it as a female in this particular instance, given here that I've got a little hint of a breast skirt, but not necessarily. We are in 2025. So anyway, obviously the person of color, got frizzy hair. She's laying here dreaming, and this particular shape here, we can't tell whether this is actually some kind of rock, whether it's continuation of the root that's up here, or whether it's some kind of pillow that she's laying on. So I want everything to be ambiguous. I want everything to be nebulous in this piece because we're talking about a dream, and things often are put together that are in juxtaposition. They just simply don't go together, but your dream will place these things together. So just playing with this whole idea here of her being asleep, deep sleep into this dream on this kind of nebulous surface. We don't know whether it's wood or whether it's stone. Then we have this snail here. Now I put the snail here because it's a symbol of grounding. Many times there are two different types of snails, but many times when you see a snail, that can be a spirit animal, believe it or not. I checked into it. And it's also a symbol of grounding if it's an earth snail. This particular snail is an earth snail, not a sea snail. And so they're often symbols of grounding, symbols of taking it slow, even though things may not be happening as quickly as you would like them to happen or want them to happen. It indicates that you still are moving progress. The snail always gets where it wants to go, just not as quickly as we think it should or we think we would like, but it does make progress. And there's also security in that progress because as you can see, the snail carries its home with it on its back. The home is what protects it and keeps it safe. And yet it still managed to get every place it needs to go. So this idea of even though we're moving slowly, we are still moving, and there's security and comfort to be found in that slow, gradual, steady movement and progress. Now, what is she progressing toward? I'm not quite sure yet, but we're working on it. This kind of comes to me in my dreams as well. So letting me know that I'm making some type of progress, and hopefully you are too. And so the feature here, we see that this figure is blending in and out and into this deeply rooted tree, all these roots intertwined, which to me symbolizes the whole dream state because you go into different places, different things, and all of it is overlapping, interwoven. And so this idea of sleeping and dreaming being interwoven into the fabric of what we're doing. And also here, she's sleeping, and it seems like she's not doing anything. When we're sleeping, you look at someone sleeping, it seems like nothing's really going on. But we know from a scientific perspective, all types of things are happening with your body when you're sleeping, molecular changes, physiological changes, regeneration, repair, and also she's traveling astrally. But from the physical perspective, it looks like nothing is happening. As a matter of fact, it looks like things are slowing down. So in a way, this snail is showing that yes, there is some movement, there is some progress, despite the fact that it seems like nothing would be happening because the person is sleeping. Then we've got this intertwining, overlapping of the roots, and then we have this tree here. I think it's interesting to notice that the tree is barren. Even though we have this barren tree, there's no leaves, there's no, anything like that, vegetation on the tree is still long and growing, but the roots are so deep. And so even though you have this tree where it appears, once again, that nothing is happening, there's no growth, there's no movement, beneath the surface, there is all kinds of things happening. And there's deep, deep roots here underneath, even though despite the top looking as if nothing is happening. Here the figure is just floating up, floating off and away into where to, we don't know, but going off and away. Here I place this whole idea of this mountain, this outlook. So she's sleeping, and yet there's this outlook, this overlook. We look out into our dreams like we're looking out into another world. Oftentimes we don't see our bodies in our dreams. I know I really never really do. I have a sense that I'm somewhere or that I feel a certain way, but I actually never see my body. It's like I'm looking, I am the observer of what I observe, which is very Buddhist, right? That whole notion of being the observer of what we observe. I am the noticer of what I notice, which is also very something that I often work with in my meditation practice, to step back out of that whole thing of the body and the senses and to retreat and become the noticer of what I notice. Not only what I feel physically in my body, but also what thoughts come through my mind, and just let them pass through. I'm noticing, that popped up. Okay, what else is going to pop up? As we let the mind quiet, become still and away from the monkey mind. So this whole idea of this overlook, being able to look out. And so this wolf figure could also be symbolic of the sleeping figure here, or it could be another spirit totem animal. So we have them both here on this, what would be the left side of the canvas, right? These two spirit animals, and the wolf is always a symbol of protection, of family. Wolves run in packs, and very strong, powerful animal. And then we've got the moon here, just this whole idea of the moon, because what? Sleep, night, dreams. So the moon is said to govern our dreams, right? The sun governs our waking conscious mind. We talk about I see the light. It's an indication of consciousness, of awareness, of understanding. Whereas the moon is that shadow side. It's our subconscious. It's those things that aren't often readily seen on the surface, because they say everything that is there during the day is there at night, but I'm not convinced that's always true. Just my personal opinion. And so this whole idea of this moon being here symbolizing what is beneath the surface, what is in what we shall say the dark, and what happens during that time. So that's what this piece is about. Not selling this for much. It's a small piece, given the fact also that it doesn't look like my original vision. I'm going to only offer it for $400. If you want to come to the 10 by 10 show and purchase it on Sunday, that would be great. You can email me or something beforehand and let me know, but it's got to be first come, first serve. So if you want to come, get there right at 1 o'clock when the show starts. Seaport Studios, 4925 Seaport, Richmond. Come by. You can pick it up $400. I have a nice little wrap for you to take the piece home. Hope you enjoy this Art Talk Tuesdays. As always, peace.